Hey everyone, Jenny Matthews here. I am doing this video today about getting uncomfortable. This is the time when my clients tend to not really like our therapy as much because they're usually having a lot of fun, talking about anxiety, maybe talking about coping skills. But then when we start to kind of talk about the action items, maybe the actual changes to make in behaviors, that starts to get people a little more nervous and uncomfortable. But that's all about the change process. You cannot grow without tolerating some uncomfortable feelings. And the hallmark of anxiety is that it demands certainty and it demands comfort. And so you probably have found as a parent that you have all kinds of maybe routines and things that you do at home just to make it through the day, because anxiety just demands that kind of certainty and comfort. So today we're going to talk about how to change that. So we're going to talk about 3 types of crutches that are used with anxiety, and then I'll wrap up with some things that you can do to change that. So, or things to work on at home, I guess. Okay, so first thing is that it's really hard to see your child uncomfortable and even feeling like they're not safe and just, at ease. That is, just probably the hardest thing to watch. So I really want you to know that I get that, and that's why making these changes is super, super hard, because as parents, we have a really hard time seeing our children not be comfortable and being unhappy. So I get that, but at the same time, in order to grow, they have to learn how to tolerate this. So some of the things that I want to point out that we as parents can do that can really be a hindrance for our children is by trying to kind of control all the risks there are. So, there's a lot of things that are uncertain, things like even just getting in your car every day, right? We don't know for certain that, we won't get into an accident, but we take that risk. And so oftentimes what can happen is parents are, without recognizing it always, but we're constantly trying to pad our children from experiencing any kind of discomfort. We're always saying oh, be careful when you do this or don't do this, maybe based on our own experiences that we've had in the past. Let's say I had an experience where I was, somebody stole money from me while I was, on the city bus or something like that. And so that happened to me at a young age. And so now I'm, as I'm a mom now, I'm telling my child, be careful when you go on the bus. There's people that can do, bad things to you. And, I'm really projecting all this fear onto my child. And we have to stop and ask ourselves, what message am I giving to my child about the world we live in when I do that? So what we're doing is we're kind of teaching our children that it's a dangerous world and you can't handle it. So we have to be really mindful of that. Okay. So, our goal as parents is to help our children be, successful, independent adults. And if we don't give them the opportunity to make decisions, to problem solve, to take some risks and tolerate some uncertainty, then we're really doing them a disservice. Okay. So, uncertainty just has to be a part of your family life. It has to be something that you're always communicating about every time it comes up. Oh gosh, we're sitting in traffic, we're running late. They might start the meeting on time. I guess we'll just figure that out, or we'll make it work. Whatever it is, you're just communicating that uncertainty happens and it's part of life. It's okay. So there, like I mentioned earlier, there are 3 types of crutches that we rely on. What is a crutch? If you think about it, right, in a medical term, it's an aid to support you because you're not able to do something independently. So when it comes to anxiety, The three types are action, people, and things. So an example of a crutch that is action-based might be something that you do. For example, you let your child sleep on your floor every night. Or when you leave the house, you have to tell your child exactly where you will be, like the exact address, or maybe have the location sharing on your phone so they can like see exactly what you're doing or where you are. Those are actions. Number two, for people, pretty self-explanatory, could be yourself as a parent. It could also be maybe somebody at school. Could be like a school counselor that is like the only person your child will work with at school or talk to if they're struggling, the only person that can meet them at the door, anything like that. Could also be a sibling. They won't go anywhere independently unless it's yourself as a parent or a sibling. And then it could also be a thing. So it could be anything from, their special blanket to an inhaler, maybe their cell phone, something that they use. In general, crutches are not bad things. It just depends on how they're being used and how important they are, how much of a priority they are, and if they're getting in the way of your child doing something independently. So it's not to say that like they're never okay to use, because it's normal for all of us to use them at times. So what I want you to do is to ask yourself, what are the crutches that my child uses? Start to think about that. And what you can do is start to ask yourself, with these crutches, by using this, am I as a parent promoting independence or am I promoting dependence? That can help you kind of determine if that's something that needs to be changed or not. And I'll just also say, if you decide it's something to be changed, you don't want to just run out there today and all of a sudden remove all crutches. That's not going to be helpful. You need to set your child up with support, skills, understanding, and then even maybe do them gradually. So don't run out there today and do that. The other thing that I want you to consider is spend some time thinking about how are these crutches helping you as a parent feel more comfortable. There may be you might be keeping those crutches for your own comfort, not necessarily your child's. So I want you to think about that a little bit as well. And then lastly, I want you to think about a time that you have, made a big decision in your life where you weren't sure what the outcome was going to be, and there was, a little uncertainty, maybe uncomfortable feelings. Examples could be like when you moved away from home the first time, or let's say had to make a decision about leaving your job. Those are really big life decisions, or you didn't know how it was going to happen. If it's appropriate, I would love for you to share that with your child, letting them know about a time that you experienced that too. And being really cautious that you're not, sharing that in a way that's feeling like, well, look what I did and it was really easy, and, making them kind of feel bad about it. But really coming from a place of empathy, like, hey, this was really hard for me too, and here's what I learned from it. And I know that, you'll learn from this as well. So that's a little bit about what I have to say about the importance of getting uncomfortable. This is a work in progress, and again, there can be a lot of pushback associated with this when you ask your child to do this. It's going to require some buy-in from your child, so seek some support around that if you need to, and don't do it all at once and abruptly, because that's not gonna turn out well. So if you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment box below. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.